Welcome, everybody, to the Mansfield Buzz. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Mansfield Buzz. It is Thursday, 2 p.m. We're on live every Thursday from 2 to 3. Jordan, I got some great news. Jordan is my host. I also have Roger from Minuteman Heating and AC, and I've got David on from Ben Franklin Plumbing in Fort Worth, and we are going to have a good time talking in a minute. But before we do, again, we are being found right now. We're live on YouTube right here, youtube.com at Mansfield TX Buzz. Jordan, I've got some exciting news. We are now booking right along. The channel's doing fantastic. I just got the latest numbers. We're close to 7,000 views since March. We're averaging a little over 2.7 thousand views for 28 days. We're around 60 subscribers, and we're now also about 47 watch time hours a month. And it's thanks to guests like this giving us great information that helps us keep this channel going. And they probably don't know this. We are booked through October 24th. Every Thursday, all the way is booked through October 24th. A lot of businesses are still inquiring with us, how they jump on. So it's real simple, guys. If you want to jump on, if you're especially in the Mansfield area, come visit the Mansfield Network group, check us out, and ask Jordan and myself how to get on the show. We put little posts on the Facebook group all the time. So, all right, Jordan. So, with no further ado, welcome to the Mansfield Buzz, and today's guest, Roger, Minuteman AC and Heating, and David from Ben Franklin Plumbing, and we got a lot of questions for you guys. So, Jordan, jump in.
Yeah, welcome back. I'm really excited. It's our first part 2 episode, right? So this is a milestone for us, and man, we got a lot of good comments and feedback from the last one. We got so much good information. So this is going to get even sweeter or juicier, I suppose. So let's start it off. All right. So Roger, last time we talked about the AC machines and just like all the maintenance that all these machines need, and how we talked about how a lot of people actually don't do enough maintenance. For those that actually do, I would imagine a lot of people had some maintenance done in the spring. Is there anything else that they should be thinking about?
Well, sure. I mean, your HVAC system, does something all year long, right? So even if you just have a heat pump system, so if you've had maintenance done, whether it's through us or anybody else, a common practice is to clean the condenser coil. Normally with just water, but sometimes you would, if it's really bad, you would need to use chemicals. But if you're running the heat pump, well, the heat pump is just going to run in reverse. So those coils need to be kept clean throughout the winter as well. But even more important, at least personally to me, is if you have a gas furnace, you need to have that gas furnace checked out, before winter. Make sure that you don't have any cracks in your heat exchangers. Make sure that you don't have any carbon monoxide leaks or anything like that. That's just an absolute health hazard.
That's really interesting because I think when call it an HVAC system, I think people think of it as just like air conditioning in the spring and summer, and then it's just the heating on the winter. Forget that it's all part of the same system.
It is.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, one part doesn't work without the other, so it's all got to be taken care of equally.
Yeah, I didn't know it actually ran backwards. That's really cool.
Yeah, there's a little part inside the condensing unit that's called a reversing valve, and it basically just reverses the flow of the refrigerant. So instead of it making cold air like it does for you in the summertime, it reverses the flow of refrigerant, and it makes that indoor evaporator coil hot. So when the air is going across it, now it heats your home.
Wow.
And so it's still just as crucial to make sure that you've got good airflow and good delta T's on whichever piece that we're looking at for a proper heating or cooling.
And so something you just mentioned, which we have not talked about at all. And by the way, these guys are back because we never got all the questions, and we wanted to bring them back in because some of these questions are as important as what we did on the first podcast. So you talked about carbon monoxide. So we haven't talked about those sensors. Are they something you recommend in Texas for every house that has heater exchange units that have is it important to have these in every home?
It is city code nowadays. So if your
Okay.
house isn't wasn't built since the code changed, absolutely 100%. If you have any gas appliance or a fireplace in your house, you should have carbon monoxide detectors. No, it shouldn't even be a question. It just should be part of your home.
Yeah, hard to believe in the old days we didn't have all these safety devices back, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, there are literally over somewhere between 1,000 and 3,000 accidental CO2 deaths every year in the United States.
That's staggering. So get those units checked. It's going to be my next question on that if you have a maintenance agreement or you put these in or you're checking them for the client, is that something you will put in the maintenance agreement, or can the homeowner test those and just replace them themselves from like Home Depot, or is that something y'all do?
Well, so that's funny. It's been a while since we did it, but back when we first started, one of the things that we did is every maintenance customer that we had, we provided a CO2 detector to them free of charge. They were, we just ordered a bunch of them off of Amazon, and they're just the ones that you plug into a light socket down close off the floor.
Gotcha.
We haven't been including those, but we absolutely recommend them.
Okay.
And we can provide them, but you can get them at Home Depot for $10, $12, $15.
Okay. Gotcha.
You just plug them into the socket and you're good to go.
Sure. Carbon monoxide is heavier than air, so it's going to settle to the ground, which is why people end up not waking up, because our beds are close to the ground, and that carbon monoxide, as it's running and filling the house all day and all night long, that carbon monoxide is filling from the bottom up.
Wow.
So smoke detectors you want on the ceiling, carbon monoxide detectors you want closer to the floor.
That's a really good piece of advice. I didn't know that. And I mean, for $10, $20, like really, really affordable way to keep your family safe.
Sure.
Okay. Are we going to do the same? We're going to pepper back and forth? Or are we going to?
Yeah, I would. Let's flip back and forth, and that'll be fun. Yeah.
All right. So let's put David in the hot seat, quite literally this time. So David, last time you teased us a little bit about tankless systems. So now you're back to really give us a little bit more knowledge about it and just talk about it a little more, because it is, I mean, just for the little that we talked about, seems fascinating. But from what I understand, people don't know actually enough about it, and there's quite a bit of benefits around them, right?
Oh, absolutely. So right off the bat, the life expectancy of a tank water heater in our area is about 8 to 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And, whatever brand you go with for a tank, you can go to the manufacturer's website and they'll basically give you the same information. That's where we get the homeowners. When you go with a tankless water heater, the life expectancy of those are 15 to 20 years with proper maintenance. So it's going to last twice as long as your tank water heater does. It's the most efficient heating product that you can put in your house. Endless amounts of hot water. So the only really, if there's a detractor, it's the upfront cost. So most people talk about the upfront cost compared to putting a tank in. Well, nowadays with everything being more expensive than what we've paid for in the past, they're steadily driving the price of a tank heater and closing the gaps, of affordability for most customers to put a tankless in. And so sizing is very, very important. And so when our technicians come to your house, it's not a one size fit all. And so what we see sometimes is rather than sizing the right unit for your house, we've got a 661. What that basically does, it provides 6.6 gallons of water to a homeowner. That will do a 1.5 to 2 bath house very efficiently. You're not going to run out of hot water. And so what we see a lot of times is a lot of people will not size properly. So they'll just put a bigger unit in. I'm going to go to the next size bigger. So bigger is always better, and I'll never run out of hot water, but bigger is more expensive. So it's very, very important that you size appropriately for your house so it can be more affordable to you.
And my follow-up question with that, do you install these generally attics, garage, outside, or is that an option for the customer, or do you guys have a preferred place to install?
That's a great question.
Well,
the answer is we can put them anywhere.
Okay.
So a lot of what we do is a lot of homeowners, if they're wanting to stay or remodel their house, we can relocate the existing tank heater and we can move it up to the attic. We can put it outside. There are things that we need to come out and look at. But there are outdoor units, there's indoor units. And so like if you've got a closet in the hallway inside your home or upstairs, and you'd really like to gain that space, we can simply relocate the water, because all we got to do, relocate the unit. We're just moving gas and water. So the most common relocation that we do is if you've got a water heater that's in a garage in a corner, one that's in a hall closet, we simply will, as long as there's enough room, enough space in the attic right above it, we will simply move the water. The gas is already in the attic dropping down. So we just simply build a platform for the tankless water heater in the attic, move everything up there, get an electrician to put an outlet in. And so, but to answer your question, we can put them anywhere, inside, outside, in an attic. We can relocate those anywhere that fits your application.
Yeah. And how long do you actually suggest from a maintenance standpoint before they do a descale? Is it certain months? Is it like 6 months? Is it 3 months? Is it 1 year? And is that part of maintenance that you guys can help with clients you put them in?
Man, you're just full of good questions today. The answer is it needs to be maintenance every year. So every year you need to have us come out, or whoever your service provider is. And the reason for that is the heart and soul of a tankless water heater is the heat exchanger.
Yep.
And the reason is when you have water when you turn a faucet on, asking for hot water to come out of any fixture in your home, when you're asking for hot water, it ignites, the water goes through the heat exchanger. And so basically as it's going through the heat exchanger, it's heating water as it's passing across that heat exchanger. And the way it heats it, it develops scale inside the heat exchanger. And scale is what is detrimental to a tankless water heater. So by keeping the maintenance up on it, you're eliminating the ability for that scale to build up. So therefore, you're prolonging the life of that tankless water heater and making sure that it operates efficiently.
Is that a chemical or something as easy as vinegar?
So there's 2 ways to do it. Make sure that you go to the manufacturer of the brand that you're using. I'm unaware of of any of them that don't agree with this, but there are chemicals that you can use. We use vinegar as what's recommended, as one of the recommended ways to descale it. And I'll tell you why we believe that's important versus chemicals. A lot of times we gain new customers. We're not the ones that actually installed that system for them. The customer never was put on a maintenance plan, or they just never chose to do maintenance on the unit. Maybe they bought the house and they don't have the history on it. So chemicals can be very harsh on an older unit that hasn't had the regular maintenance done every single year. And so vinegar isn't as harsh on it. It still serves the exact same purpose. So we opt for vinegar and the vinegar solution versus using any type of chemical.
Gotcha. Okay. Wow. Good answer. But I think if anybody has tankless and hasn't figured out now that there's a couple things that need to be done right and what they really do, you just got all the information you need to make a decision, especially from an install standpoint. That's awesome to know you guys could rearrange stuff to put it where it's the best place to put it, right? Which is really cool. One more question on the tankless. Yeah.
If I can interject one thing, because I'll forget. One of the things that is really, we get called out all the time for, and I don't think we covered this the last time we were together. So we get a call where a customer we come out and give a quote, and they tell us that they're just tired of waiting for hot water to get to their furthest fixture. And, and so it's very, very important, whoever you have, whether it's us that gets to come out and educate you on tankless water heater, one of the first things you should ask a customer is, so Hardy, let me ask you a question. What's got you interested or thinking about going tankless water heaters? And if we hear, I am just done waiting for hot water to get to my back fixture, then it's very important that the company that's out there lets you know that I can give you endless amounts of hot water. And I have applications where I can give you endless, and I can also eliminate the delay. But simply putting a tankless water heater is not going to eliminate the amount of time it takes the water to get from point A to point B.
Yep.
And if that's not expressed or get a customer to understand it, you're going to have a customer that's going to be very frustrated because now they've went and put this system in, and right now the ambient temperature of the water coming in, they're probably not going to touch it.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
Let them start getting into the fall and the winter months, you're going to get a phone call with a customer that thinks their unit's not working, when literally it just was the technician of the company didn't explain exactly the functionality of a tankless water heater, what they're getting. So that's very, very important.
Yeah. So if your water faucet's 50, 60, 100 feet away from that, then, you got to wait for it to get there. I mean, but I can understand where people think it's instant on, because I guess when they think they turn their water on, it's sitting there hot in their faucet. But okay, never mind. That's cool. All right. Back to you, Jordan. Sorry about that. I just had to find out. I really think tankless is kind of cool. And, but again, it still requires, it's not something you just leave alone. That was my whole point.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Mm-hmm. And really important, the yearly maintenance, although you're also supposed to maintain your normal water heater on a yearly cadence as well.
Every year.
So either one these guys will work on. That's the point. Okay. So get a maintenance agreement with Ben Franklin Plumbing over in Fort Worth, and get taken care of, because this stuff's going to break sooner or later. It's a machine, won't last forever. And get your, understand your warranties and stuff. So now we got to go back to Roger, don't we? Yeah.
Yes. Now, Roger, you're back on the hot seat.
Let's shoot. Let's do it.
Okay. So let's see. Let's actually hop around a little bit, because we were just talking about warranty. So I'd love to ask you about that as well, because they're expensive pieces of equipment. And this one, I mean, I'm sure people are wondering, how long is the warranty on an AC system?
Well, there's multiple answers to that. So almost all ACs, residential ACs, are going to come with a 5-year warranty straight out of the box. And if you're dealing with a reputable company that bought through the proper channels, then you should be able to register that equipment for a 10-year warranty. That's most brands. Then some people, but now we sell and we service and sell multiple brands, and one of the brands that we sell is Daikin. And one of the reasons that we chose Daikin is they come with a 12-year warranty, which is one of the longest warranties in the business. And then on top of that, what we do is we have a 3-year labor warranty that we purchase and provide to the customer with every system that we sell. But we can customize that to anything that they want. If they want to have a 5-year, 10-year, or even a 12-year labor warranty, we can assist them with that as well.
Wow.
But the unfortunate thing is, what I find and I've seen for many, many years, is new construction homes. You buy a brand spanking new home, and you should have every bell and whistle and every warranty that's allowed to you. I mean, you paid a lot for that unit in that house, and most of those people who do new construction homes, they don't register the equipment.
So what does that mean? What happens if they don't?
Well, what that means is that homeowner is going to basically have a 5-year warranty on that system.
Wow.
And that's even, and so, they're in that new construction housing market, the most of those contractors, they're responsible for that house or that unit for a year. And then they wash their hands of it. They've moved on to another one. And I'm not saying this is good, and I'm not saying this is bad or anything bad about those contractors. It's just part of the industry. It's the industry just does that way. And then you get companies, like us, who end up coming in and picking up and taking over those services, because they just really want to put systems in new construction houses and don't really want to deal with the service and the maintenance end of it, which is what we specialize in.
So a great home customer, I guess, for you would be somebody, let's say you got a house that was just built somewhere here, right? It's maybe been in for a year, and now personally they have 4 years out of the box left, right? This would be a great customer for you. Get on maintenance program, correct? And go through this with them and show them what's going on.
Sure. And depending on the brand, there are times when we find out that they don't have nobody registered their equipment. There are companies and manufacturers that will allow us to go ahead and register that equipment for them.
Well, there you go.
But it's kind of dicey on the time frame.
So if you have a house that's less than 4 years, 3 years old, and you just moved into it and it's brand new, you need to call these guys and have them come out and check that and see what they can do. To me, that's just common sense, right? Yes. Now, my next question to you is, do any of these, you starting to see these extended home warranties being offered on homes? I'm not sure what it does cover. I hear it covers appliances, things of that nature. Is there anything under those home warranties that are sold by third parties to clients that help with AC, or is that not part of their program?
Oh, that's a sticky question you just asked me. So
sorry, we can delete it. Hang on. No, I'm kidding.
Home warranties can be very good for some people. Okay. And I've also have customers that have had, I can give you horror stories about third-party home warranties, as far as AC goes. I can't talk about the rest of it, but some of them do very good. And as long as you're taking care of the system properly, then, yes. And then you have some of them that they're really only there. They're there to find an immediate problem with what you have, repair that problem, and collect the service fee and move on. Whereas a company that's like us, that's really more about service and maintenance, you call us out for a problem, we're looking at the whole system, because yes, we're going to get you fixed right now and get you back up and cooling. But I also don't want you to have to call me in 3 months or just right down the road. If I see that there's another part that is possibly going to fail, I'm at least going to let you know about it so that you can make that decision yourself. A lot of the home warranty companies don't really operate that way. They're just going to fix the immediate problem and then move on. And then they don't cover a lot of things. One of the biggest failures on the system is the evaporator coil. You've got three dissimilar metals in there, and it's in a dark place, and it's got water on it most of the time. What's going to happen? You're going to have rust. There's literally no way to stop that. It's just part of what happens. But you can extend the life and slow the rust down. But when they find rust, then that's when they wash their hands of it and say, well, this had nothing to do with anything. We don't warranty rust. And so you're expecting them to warranty something because that's what they are. They're kind of like an insurance company, but they have their caveats to get out as well. So it's not good, not bad. Just know what you're getting.
I would think homeowners, and probably even commercial for that matter, probably you don't know what you don't know. So you don't know what questions to ask if you don't know, right? So,
Yes.
maybe that's when they should be calling you guys to find out, what do I have here? What needs to be done? What kind of maintenance program do I need to be on? And it would seem like to me, the homeowner, you're putting a lot of, not you, but the homeowner has a lot of pressure to figure out what he has and what he doesn't have, right? So
Yes.
you guys can help him through that process. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So from my opinion, if I was going, if those are things that bothered and concerned me, I would find a company or companies for whatever trade, electrical, plumbing, air conditioning, whatever they may be, and get on a maintenance system with them. I'm not an electrician, but even the electricians have a maintenance plan so that they go through your house to make sure that everything's safe.
Absolutely.
And that would be my recommendation to somebody rather than having a third party home warranty.
So, Jordan, one thing we probably need to mention real quick, just because we got some new people that'll be watching this not only live but on demand, right? Is that why do we have Minuteman Heating and AC on with a Ben Franklin Plumbing Company? So, guys, really quickly connect our audience, okay? Why?
I'm going to let David's our vice president. I'll let him explain.
There you go. All right.
So about 9 years ago, we had the conversation. We'd been asked, by customers, friends, how come you guys don't do AC? You already take care of my plumbing. And so my son-in-law used to work. The guy actually got into the business. Roger hired him. And so as we were having a conversation, should we open up an HVAC side? Should we not? We got Roger's information, had a meeting with Roger, basically Bill asked him, if you were going to start an AC company today, what would it look like? And it made it kind of fit was, well, you already have a customer base. Ben Franklin's already a recognized name. And so we talked about values, how important it was to take care of the customer. Our owner, Bill McDaniel, our president, Courtney's dad, Courtney Wilkinson, her dad, said, look, there's three things. If you take care of the customer and always do the right thing, and then if you take care of your employees, then the company never has to worry about number three because it's always taken care of. But you got to do the first two well. And so it just seemed like such a natural fit. We talked to Roger about our vision, his background in the industry, how long at the time he'd been doing it. Now he's getting close to 40 years in the trade. Which is really weird because he's only 30 years old. I don't really understand the math on that one. But it was just a fit. Yeah, it was just a fit. And so Bill put out a contest for whoever could come up with the name for our AC side, and it was his wife, Barb. And we wanted to keep along that Ben Franklin theme. And so we came up with Minuteman Heating and Air offering revolutionary service. And so the rest is history.
Well, we just wanted to let people know because it's kind of uncommon to have a plumbing and a AC and heating company on, and we're talking, right? So we need to connect everybody to hip that's for their first time listening. There you go. All right.
We tell all of our employees, anybody that comes on board with us, anytime we get asked this, we're one company with two different departments. We have a plumbing department that's Ben Franklin Plumbing, and it's Minuteman, but we're one company with two departments.
That's smart. I like it.
That's awesome.
All right, Jordan. I guess Dave's still up, huh?
Yes. Well, we have you here. Let's go back let's talk a little bit more tankless, right?
Sure.
Because you have all the ins. So now that you talked about tankless, you got me thinking, okay, this is a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
The warranties on these are much better. It lasts you much longer. Endless hot water is great. So is there any ins to it? I believe there's some tax rebates that you can take advantage of.
Yes, sir. So one of the things that we try to let our customers know, the same thing there's several products HVAC has the same thing on their equipment, water filtration. But if a customer would go to EnergyStar.com, and when you go to EnergyStar.com, you can look up tankless water heaters, and it will give you the requirements of what that unit has to meet, and those are efficiency guidelines. And so as long as the unit that you're installing for a customer meets those guidelines, on the Energy Star website, it will tell you the rebates that are eligible for this product to the customer. The other thing that you need to know is it is up to the customer to file for those rebates. And so if someone just tells you that, hey, if I come out to your house and I put this system in, you know, you can get up to, you know, several $100s, $1,000, whatever it qualifies for, and they don't give the customer the information to go about how to get that, they're going to go do their taxes, and then you're going to get that company's going to get a phone call going, hey, I didn't get my rebate. What happened? So it's a little bit more work for the customer to do, but it is up to them when they file their taxes. And when you go to Energy Star, there's a form that they'll need to print out. When they print that form out, there's some information about the unit that's installed, and you put that information in. You do that at tax time, but that's where you go to EnergyStar.com. You can also the brand of unit that you're putting in. We sell multiple brands, and you can go to that company's website, because sometimes you can double dip, and so you can get rebates from the government on those. But a lot of times the manufacturers have manufacturer rebates. So you're going to want to ask we need to inform you, but if a customer were to ask or wanted to know, if they were looking up before they set up an appointment for us to come out, hey, I'm really interested in going with the Nords unit, the one that offers the industry-leading 25-year warranty on the heat exchanger.
Wow.
So you would want to go to Nords.com and type in rebates, and they would tell you if there's anything that they are offering this year, this fiscal tax year. And you can do that with any brand, but there's generally manufacturer rebates, and then there's rebates that you can go online at EnergyStar.com and see if you can qualify for even double dip.
That's a great strategy. I love that.
So, Dave, do you guys have some sort of checklist at the end of an installation on a product that does have tax rebates? Do your tech people go through that with the client, let them know here's some things you need to address, right? Or do you feel like that responsibility strictly needs to be on the homeowner, or do you help them through that process?
I believe if there's any information that is available to the customer, it is absolutely our job to educate them on that and not leave it to them, because you're not giving great customer service if there's information that I have, and shame on me if I don't share that with my customers, because you may not know about it. And then it's a different conversation if they find out about it and I get a phone call going, how come you didn't tell me about this? I missed out. So no, it's absolutely the company's responsibility to make sure that the technicians are informing our customers of anything that they need to be made aware of that's a benefit to them.
Now, does rebates help you guys too? Does a manufacturer award you guys for pushing a line of products, or through that manufacturer, do you guys have some recourse on some of their dealer incentives or anything like that?
So we get rebates from our supplier on certain products. The rebates are more a benefit to the customer.
Right, exactly. But sometimes these big companies like to help y'all incentivize the product too. Just to pass it on to the consumer, which is awesome. That's great. Okay.
Yeah. So cool. a lot of our products do qualify for our rebates, quarterly and stuff like that.
Sure.
But compared to what it benefits the customer, it benefits us two ways. If you want to talk about rebates that possibly a company would get, one, if I educate you on how to make this affordable for you and your family, check all the boxes there, and I'm able to, that's a benefit to you guys, to as many customers as possible. That's a win for us. And if there's the equipment that we install comes with a manufacturer's rebate to the company, you sell 100 units, you get a $100 rebate to the company. But those are insignificant compared to what we're able to pass along to the customer.
Sure. Gotcha. I think that's awesome. Wow. So much stuff, Jordan. I mean,
I know we're finding out all this new technology and even like little strategies to get some rebates, work with taxes.
The manufacturer rebates on air conditioning, we get a lot of those but we just forward them to the customers.
yeah, yeah, perfect. I mean, it's a perfect deal. Plus, y'all have discounts for certain things like military stuff like that. You guys have your own in-shop discounts and stuff you offer, which we discussed on the last show. So, Jordan, I guess it's back to we got the guy front and center. Wait till you ask this next question.
Yes.
We'll be here for another hour.
What is how do you pronounce this? Is it SEER rating?
SEER.
It's SEER rating. And SEER rating stands for Seasonal Energy Efficiency Ratio.
Okay.
It's what it means. But what does it really mean? How does that correlate to
size?
Understanding? I explain it to homeowners as miles per gallon.
Yep.
Everybody understands, highway miles and city miles and stuff like that. So the higher the number of SEER rating that you have, the more miles per gallon that you're saving on your air conditioning. In just layman's terms, because everybody understands cars and fuel.
Yeah.
But there's so much more than just the SEER rating and efficiency. There are the three different types of systems, like we were talking about before, the podcast actually started. Single speed, 2-speed was super popular over the last 5-10 years. Well, over the last few years, variable speed and inverter systems are just knocking it out of the park and how efficient that they are. They do run more often, which just blows people's mind, because you're like, how can it be more efficient if it runs all day? Well, it's running at lower speeds, lower RPMs, pulling out more humidity, using less energy to achieve what the old single stage systems used to do, when they would just cycle. They would run until they hit certain temperature, cycle off, thermostat would raise back up, and it would come back on. Nowadays, the technology is just much higher than that, much higher than that.
Makes total sense.
No, that's fascinating. I didn't know you could actually look this up, right? Because with a car, when you're shopping for cars, that's one of the first things you look at. Is like, right, so how much am I going to be in it for the gas, and to put it front and center. I didn't know you could have some similar, there was this kind of information on those units. That's fascinating.
I've literally got stories where people had single stage systems. We moved them into variable speed systems, inverter systems, dropped their electric bill so much that they're now not overpaying the electric company, but making their finance payments on this new air conditioning system, and still have some of them $40, $60, $100 extra left over to put back in their bank account, that they're no longer overpaying the electric company. And here they were thinking there's no way they could afford this. They were already paying for it. They were just paying the wrong people. They were paying the electric company and not the finance company.
Exactly. And I get that. And the other thing that might be worth talking about, since you're talking about SEER rating, is also some other contributing factors, like ductwork may be wrong, right? Originally not put in and installed right. Or you may have an upstairs and downstairs, and maybe that's not running efficiently. So there's other things to look at besides just the SEER rating, right? And the tonnage of the unit. The second part of that question is, SEER rating used to be a pretty important rating, right, Roger, for depending on the tonnage, the size of the house, the square footage. But with these 2-speed systems, is SEER still based on that, or is it a different formula now? I don't know what I'm asking. I think I'm getting in the right direction, but
so I'm just a simple HVAC guy. I'm not an engineer that I don't have the mathematical equation to tell you how they even come up with that SEER rating on any unit.
Gotcha.
What I can tell you is that SEER rating is not necessarily the most important.
Gotcha.
You nailed it. The people overlook the duct system. You can have the best system in the world, very simple or very complicated, but if you don't have the duct system right, which is the simplest part of the system, I mean, it's just a tube with some insulation on it.
Right.
Anybody can hook them up as long as you know what sizes. And there's something that gets left out of conversations all the time. It's called static pressure. Static pressure is how you measure the air, how fast it moves through the duct, how much pressure it's putting along the duct, how long the duct run is, and that is crucial. And what I have found over a lot of years is that most houses don't have enough return air, especially if back when they were built with the old R22 systems. And then you go change out that system with a 410A or probably one of these new A2Ls that's going to be coming out shortly. They all operate off of different static pressures. Well, that R22 was a very friendly refrigerant. It didn't have to be charged exactly properly. The ductwork didn't have to be exactly,
perfect,
spot on for you to get cool or warm air. Now, you might not have been getting the efficiency that you needed, and you might not have been getting your full capacity of air, but you didn't know it. Now you change that out. Now you just put a new box on top of that same old system, and it matters. It 100% matters. And that's what I find when we go back behind people who have installed systems for customers within months, sometimes just a year, and we're adding ductwork to it to relieve the static pressure because somebody didn't look at it.
So Roger just said he wasn't an engineer, but he just went through a whole mathematical equation for static pressure.
That I know.
That's awesome, man.
You brought up something really important that is coming up, and I think it's actually coming forth a little faster than we expected. But there is a new type of Freon, right?
Yes, they're doing it to us again. So we all grew up
yeah,
with R22 in our systems, and that went away around 2009 2010. And then we came out with 410A, and that was supposed to save the world and save the ozone and all that stuff. And now they've come out with basically two new refrigerant types. They are called A2Ls, but one of them is going to be R32B, and the other one's going to be 454B. And the Goodman, Amana, Daikin family have been using the R32B all across Europe and Asia for decades. And they were at one time the patent holders, so that's what they've decided to stay with, here in the U.S. And virtually every other manufacturer is going with R452B, and they're both very similar. They're both blends. But what they started out in the industry scaring everybody with is that they're going to have propane in them, and they're going to be flammable. And what are we going to do about leaks? What are we going to do? How are we going to weld the stuff in? And I'm telling you, that was one of the biggest industry scare tactics, to make people go to classes and learn about this stuff that I've ever seen. Because we've already here at Minuteman, we've already installed 2 or 3 of those systems. And there's absolutely nothing to be afraid of.
There you go.
Except for the fact that if you have a 410A system or an R22 system, get prepared for the price of those refrigerants to shoot through the roof.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about that. So we're going to the new system, and so repairs are going to get more expensive because the older refrigerants are just going to disappear.
Yep. So just since 2019, the industry has experienced probably David, about a 60% price increase over since then, little by little. Yeah. And we're told to expect the biggest price increase we've ever seen. We're probably looking at a 20% price increase in 1 year.
Wow.
Because everybody's had to retool and redo all their machines and everything to redesign every aspect of these systems. They're just getting bigger and bigger. And so that is going to be, the people who are having to buy new ones are they're going to pay more. There's just no doubt about it. They're going to be more expensive. And then the people who are hanging on to the older ones, and having
We're
to put
gonna-
refrigerants in them, it's going to get very costly.
Yeah, and they're also going to see it's going to affect their energy bills because
All of it.
they're not efficient. So there's a lot of downside to that. All right, so there you go, Jordan, and something for people, homeowners, to kind of wrap their heads around.
Yeah. Do you spend the money now or do you spend the money later?
Pay me
That's
now
it.
or pay me later.
And it's your choice, but that is the choice.
Now, is this new system going to be more energy efficient?
So they redesigned the new SEER 2 ratings during this A2L. So we don't really go over this too much with consumers, but SEER, when we talk about SEER rating nowadays within the industry, it's SEER 2, SEER 0.2. And so what they did is they reclassified them. Again, I'm not an engineer to tell you what math they used to do that, but I can tell you that they had to make the 14 SEER more efficient. So it's like a minimum of 14.2. And then some of the other ones, basically they deregulated them down. Instead of something being a 17 SEER or something like that last year, this year it's a 16 SEER.
Gotcha. Okay. I get that.
All right.
So
let's switch it up again.
Yeah, we're
Matter
going to
up.
talk water.
David, back in the hot seat. So we're talking about making things better, right? And optimizing things. Where we're talking about water heaters, tax rebates. I love that part. And I was wondering, you talked about descaling, and that, got me thinking about the water. We have a lot of stuff in our water nowadays. So one of the things you wanted to talk about was water filtration. I'd love to hear what you have to tell us about that.
So I believe that all of us, all of the consumers, all of us homeowners, anybody that gets water out of a faucet, in the next 5 years, you're going to hear 3 to 5 years, you're going to hear more and more marketing, advertising, more people talking about it because of how many people are moving into our area and our water supply. And so what the cities do for our water supply is what they have to put into water to make that potable water is what it's called. So right now, you have more water, more chlorine and chloramines coming out of your faucet, out of your fixtures, than you do the pool that you have in your apartment complex, in your backyard. And so there's a test. It's a simple test that we can show anybody. I could do it at the networking event. But we basically take a pool test kit, and out of your kitchen faucet, we let it run for a few seconds, take the sample, put a couple of drops in it, and then we just say, Jordan, what does the readings on that say? And then you're going to look at me or another technician and go, are you trying to tell me there's as much chlorine in my faucet, the water coming out of my faucet that's in my pool? And I'm going to look at it and go, well, actually, it's more. And so as we get more and more educated and educate our consumers, our customers on water filtration, it's becoming more affordable, which is very important, right? So yeah. I understand completely as a homeowner, but it's always surprising to me, and Roger's seen me have this conversation for years with customers and at events, marketing, networking events. And so when I do that simple exercise where I show you how much chlorine is coming out of the water that you make all your food, you prep your food out of, it's the water that you're showering in, all of it, right? And everybody's interested. Hey, can you have somebody come out to my house? Until you tell them the price. Now all of a sudden the health concerns and the chlorine stuff isn't really that important. It goes, well, we've always had the same water. Must not that be a big deal. But we have very affordable options from point of use where we can come in and put a single stage carbon filter underneath your kitchen faucet. And so that the water coming out of your faucet, coming out of your fridge, which already has a carbon filter, but it's just kind of making that, you're double dipping on that aspect of it, giving you even better grade quality water out of it. Super affordable. There, you can Google them. You've got filters that'll screw right onto your shower heads now so that you're not And why do they do that? They're all over the place. I'll just screw it right on the shower head. That's because our bodies is the biggest sponge that we have. And so you're absorbing all that when you take a shower. So now you're seeing a lot of people advertising a carbon filter that you can screw right onto your shower head, and that's to eliminate the chlorine and the chloramine. Whole house water filtration. We have options for customers that are the pricing has come way down, and it's made it more affordable. It's just a health concern for our customers, and everybody should be educated on it. And now it's become so affordable that there really isn't any reason, if you understand what's in your water, that you shouldn't consider us or having someone else come and talk to you about water filtration. The other thing is plumbing companies, plumbers, we own the water. And for years, without naming names, there are water companies that have been around doing a much better job than plumbing companies at educating the customers on water treatment. But the water, we own the water. Plumbers should be the ones educating the customers, because we're the ones that's actually licensed to do that work, to cut into your water system and hook those supply lines up, run water lines to an outside source. But I'm very passionate about water filtration. I believe it's a huge health concern. I challenge anybody that's watching this, go to your city's website. Go to the city of Mansfield, city of Arlington, whatever city it is, go to their website, and on that, they are required to have their water quality report. And it will tell you what's in the water. And most all cities meet all the minimum requirements to give you safe drinking water. But there's always a disclaimer in there that tells you what can be.
Oh, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we do not recommend, young children or elderly people to drink or bathe in this water, because it has been known to cause, and it goes on and on about all the the stuff that it could cause. But no one talks about it, and it's right there. It's available, but no one's ever told a customer, you don't have to take my word for it. Go here, look at it. And if you have any questions after you read it, call me back. We train our teams on both sides of the company. Any information that we can give a consumer, a customer, just call them our customers, anyone that is not our opinion, where they can go to a manufacturer or a city and read it, I think it makes it more credible, because now I'm not telling Jordan my opinion on water filtration. I'm actually either doing a test to show him what's in his water, or what the city says is in his water and what he should and shouldn't do before bathing in it and drinking it.
Yeah.
You know what I love about this? Every time you go swimming at a pool, you go swimming and then until you get out and take a shower so you can get all that chlorine off.
Fact.
Now we should start telling people, now that you took a shower, you should go jump in the pool so you can get that chlorine off.
Absolutely. I recently was talking to a group of friends of mine, and I don't remember how it came up. Something was talking about it, and one of the guys' wife said, "So you're telling me that if we go home right now, because we have a pool, so we have a test kit," and I said, "I would love for you to call me back and tell me the results of that test." She could not wait to call me and go, "I am just shocked. It's not that I didn't believe you." I'm like, "No, seeing's believing. That's why you hear that statement." And she was just appalled. She's just like, I just can't believe it. And Jordan just nailed it. She's like, "What's the point of even jumping out of the pool, even rinsing off? What's the point?" Another thing that you can do is if you take that pool water and stick your hand in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then do the test again, it won't show any chlorine in it. Where'd the chlorine go, Jordan?
Oh no.
Your body
it got absorbed.
Oh, that's horrible.
And so,
your body absorbed it.
and Dave, you're not even describing other things, bacterias, drugs. I live in an apartment, so I can't tear up their water system. But what I can do is I have a Berkey system, but I don't use their filters because they're not certified. I use another company's filters and for the water. So So if you have some solutions for that, I'd love to talk to you. about that
Absolutely.
too.
No
Okay. So there might be
Mhm.
some things we can do through you. So I'll definitely contact you about that. So
Guys, isn't that another example of pay now or pay later? I mean, how much do we spend on a bottle of water?
Mhm.
and
We
and,
pay,
e- and
we pay
even that water is kind of what they call dead water, right?
Yeah,
So you
it's-
really want to get nutrients and minerals in your water too. So
yeah,
Yeah.
but even this junk water that we buy out of the store,
Right.
when you
Being
add it up,
filtered.
we pay more for water by the gallon than we do gasoline.
Yeah.
And we complain about the price of gasoline, but we don't
No.
complain about buying a bottle of water. And we buy thousands of dollars
That
worth of it.
ran through a filter that he could put in your house.
Yep.
Artie, you nailed it. When we get
Right.
a chance to talk to somebody, and we talk just like tankless water heaters. When you're talking about the upfront cost, I'm like, well, let's break it down. What does a case of water cost you? Right? Basically, what you're spending on the water that you're buying, and you don't think you need to spend the money on water filtration. What we can break that down to you, it's costing you more money to buy water than we can give you better than bottle quality water coming out of your fixtures.
I love it.
That's awesome.
So guys, we're bumping top of the hour, but I have two things for Roger, Jordan. One thing is, before we ask him the last question about the recharging, is you do something at the beginning of every month on Friday, Roger, that's just really cool for the Mansfield community. You mention it all the time, the Mansfield Network Group. What do you do on the first Friday of every month?
So it's not just me; it's me and David and the Benjamin Franklin Minuteman
yeah.
team.
The whole company, right?
Yes, we do. It's what we call it First Friday lunch. So the first Friday of every month, we cook for all of our employees, and we invite like I invite the networking group to come. We have other members of the community that will stop by. I've got other friends from other air conditioning companies and other plumbing companies that will stop by and visit, and just be a part. Just to give back to our employees and a little bit to the community. It's for me, it's one of my favorite days of the month. I typically volunteer, but I typically get to do most of the cooking, and I love being a part of a company. This was David's idea. He came up with a little over 2 years ago, David.
Great idea.
And what started out as a one-time lunch turned into, no, we're going to make a commitment. And it doesn't matter the weather. It doesn't matter if it's a good month or a bad month or whatever we're going through. It doesn't matter if I'm on vacation or David's on vacation. It doesn't matter. First Friday, we are going to provide lunch to 60 to 70 employees, admin, plumbers, HVAC, and some of our guests. And I would love to have y'all stop by. Last month, just out of our group, we had Christy came, Randy Davis came, and Gordon came. So
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll come out to this one. I'll shoot a little 60-second clip, and then I'll come back in and add it into the video. How do you like that onto the screen as a short? How's that? I'll do that.
I appreciate that.
The other thing I wanted to tell Jordan, I'm going to take this because I want to tell a story here. I'm not trying to bump your time. So I get up about 2 weeks ago. I have a smart meter. I have also sensors in the apartment, right? So I can look at my app on my phone, and my thermostat that I had set on 73, the temperature in the apartment's now showing 76. And I notice my fan's running and it's on auto and it won't shut off. I'm out of Freon. I call the apartments. They show up 10 o'clock at night. It's dark. They charge it. 24 hours later, I call them back. Hey, temperature went back up to 76 from 73 and it's still going up. They come out, they recharge it. You're talking about a $900 bottle of. Did it 3 times so they finally realized that they probably need to replace it. So tell us a little bit about what I just described.
You just went through what so many people go through. And I understand it. I mean, that apartment complex, it's going to cost them a lot of money to replace.
Yep.
It's going to cost any consumer, any customer, it's going to cost them a lot of money to replace. But let me tell you, that leak's not going to fix itself. The hole's not going to go away. You can't fix it like, it's not like take it to Discount Tire and they put a plug or a patch on it.
No duct tape.
Yeah. And so there are some people, there's a product out there that we will not use it under any circumstances. It's called Leak Stop. You're probably familiar with it. Back in the old days, we had something where you'd put it in your radiator, to stop a leak in your car because it was leaking. And it might work for a few minutes, but half the time you end up losing the engine of your car because it ended up breaking.
Exactly.
Again, we won't use it because it can just plug up all TXVs, everything that metering devices, compressors. Basically, you're in a spot where you're going to keep recharging it until you've had enough, and you're gonna have to replace it.
That's right, and that's what they did.
Yeah,
just so you know.
That's yeah.
And I tried to. By the way, I tried to refer MAA Properties to your company to say you need to use them as a local service, but that's not a decision made here. It's a decision made in Memphis. So I tried. Okay, I just want to let you know that.
Thank you.
I tried. Just so you know. I said, hey, I got a guy. So you can contract that here locally for us, but that's not my call, and it wasn't their call. So there you go. All right, guys. Jordan,
real quick, with a leak topic. So, in a system should not lose any Freon, right? So if you're at a point where you need to put more, then there's a problem.
There is. You can think of that Freon, that refrigerant system as your blood vessels in your body. Blood's not supposed to come out anywhere, anytime. And if it is, there's a problem. That refrigerant is not supposed to come out ever from the day that it was charged. The only thing that should affect the way that the charge is a dirty filter or a dirty blower. And once those two things are cleaned and taken care of, or a dirty coil, something like that, once those things are back, then that charge should never be adjusted, ever.
Just like on your car, Jordan, either works or doesn't.
That's it.
But it's not like the 1998 Toyota Prius? No, the Camry, the one that fixes itself. Just our bodies can heal themselves, but unfortunately our machines don't do that, at least not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Who knows what the future will bring, though.
So let me put up some contact information here. So you guys, this is the website for Minuteman Heating and AC.com. Well, this will be posted on the show, guys. It'll show throughout the show, and I'll be posting these links in the description. I send you guys the link of this, and then here is, let me go back up here. Let me show this. This is Benjamin Franklin, Plumbing Fort Worth, David, and they're all connected. They're right there together. And then you had mentioned this, David, and I want to put it back up. If you're a consumer and you want to check rebates on stuff, EnergyStar.com is what you mentioned in the program. Right. Okay. All right, guys. Any final thoughts? Thank you.
It was a lot of fun, just like last time. I look forward to doing it again sometime.
Well, you guys will get your links. You know that. You can share them out to the community and help build the channel. We appreciate this. Is great information. You put these two show together, and I am just stunned about the amount of information we covered in an hour today. Time flies.
Absolutely. Glad we could share.
Thank you. I'll put myself back up here. We'll sign out. I want to do this. I've always wanted to do this, Jordan. We're going to music, guys. So we're on next Thursday. Next week, it's interesting. We have Cat 3 water mitigation service on. Pretty important part of Dave. I'm sure you've seen a lot of this. So come join us every Thursday, 2 o'clock, Mansfield Buzz. Guys, we'll see you next week. Thank you, Roger. Thank you, David. Thank you, Jordan. Awesome hosts up there. Y'all have a great day.
Bye, y'all.